Hey everyone, welcome back to Ming and Bronzo, where we talk about current affairs, historical stories, suspense and thrillers with a little Eastern flavor. Today's story is about three people who made the emperor look like an intern. One killed a child emperor, one ruled with beauty and manipulation, and one got promoted through pillow diplomacy. Together they turned the Eastern Han Dynasty into House of Cards meets Game of Thrones. Liang Ji was born with what we'd call God mode in ancient politics. His dad was a top general, his sister married the emperor, so yeah, he spawned with premium family access, lifetime membership, no subscription needed. He started high, but he wanted higher. When one advisor had the guts to criticize him, Liang Ji sent assassins in the night and pinned it on some poor clerk. The Book of Later Han said it perfectly. Ji Zhuanquan Senzhong, Wei Xing Nei Wai, Chao Chen Huang Kong Morgan Wei Ming. In other words, he didn't need to be emperor. He was the emperor's top. And that's just the beginning of Liang Ji's story. Stay tuned, because the next part gets even darker. When an emperor died, he simply picked another. A 2-year-old, an 8-year-old, it didn't matter. One of them, Emperor Ji, was smart enough to call him out. "You're too arrogant." Liang Ji smiled and offered him soup. Poison soup. After that, Liang Ji owned half the empire, turned peasants into private slaves, and built gardens bigger than the palace. Liang Ji never crowned himself, but he basically lived as the little finger of ancient China, whispering to the throne, serving only himself. Now meet Lady Sun Shou, the deadliest beauty influencer of 2nd century China. She invented the crying brow look, thin curved brows, red under the eyes, like she just finished a tragic love poem. Every noblewoman copied her, not realizing the original tutorial came with poison and politics. Her marriage to Liang Ji wasn't romance, it was a merger. He ran the empire outside, she ruled it inside. Governors had to send her gifts before taking office. Refuse, and you'd violate protocol. Power is a funny thing. Once you start collecting people's loyalty, you sometimes collect their lovers too. Okay, let's back to the Book of Later Han. It said, Ji ai jian nu qinggong, guan zhi tai tangling. Literal translation, Liang Ji loved his house servant Qinggong and promoted him to Grand Storehouse Chief. In the other terms, the boss didn't just like his employee, he loved him professionally and probably not so professionally. He fell for his own servant, skipped a few ranks, and made him the empire's finance guy. Think of it as the earliest case of HR sleeping with upper management. And somehow, the HR got promoted. When Lady Sun found out about this servant, she didn't get jealous, she got strategic. The Book of Later Han said, "So Jiangong zhe ping yu zhe tuo yi yan she, yin yu si yan." Literal translation, whenever Lady Sun met Qinggong, she dismissed her attendants, pretended to discuss official matters, and then became intimate with him. Yeah, you heard that right, she kicked everyone out, said let's talk business, and that meeting lasted all a long night, according to the historians. Qinggong started as a servant, but ended up with more power than half the officials in the empire. Liang Ji gave him carriages, robes, and a front row seat at state meetings. Soon, even governors lined up to flatter him. He was quite literally the empire's prettiest bureaucrat. The Book of Later Han said, "Daijiangjun Liang Ji shi tai cangling Qinggong zisha yilang byongzun." Literal translation, Grand General Liang Ji ordered Qinggong, the chief of the imperial storehouse, to assassinate an imperial advisor named Bing Zun. Cool. Now the same guy promoted through personal relations was now trusted with an assassination. That's what we call a very diverse career path. Now that we know the three characters, let's hear the story in full. Attention again, attention, attention. If this sounds like someone you know, that's purely accidental. Once upon a time, the trio Liang, Sun, and Qin traveled to a tropical kingdom called Philippia, a home to more than 7,000 islands, blessed with pristine rivers, trees, and the most exciting of all, it has endless public contracts to infrastructure projects. Liang praised his wife Sun for her hands-on leadership in restoring the pick. The Philippians International Convention Center, the project doubled her public prestige and turned her into the new symbol of modern womanhood. Even her signature penguin walk became a cultural sensation. Socialites copied it, tabloids adored it, and soon the entire kingdom waddled in admiration. Then Liang discovered that his favorite Qin wasn't just pretty, he was practical. So he promoted him to Grand Treasurer, putting the empire's economy in his hands. Liang had a powerful rival in the court, Minister Bing, once an ally, now a hugest threat all over the world. To prove his loyalty, Qin struck first, launching audits, investigations, and public accusations to destroy Bing's name. On paper, it looked like a noble crusade against corruption. In reality, it was personal revenge. Bing fought back, supported by an ancient and wealthy clan. But soon the triangle of Liang, Sun, and Qin closed in around him. They were untouchable, until the money trail started to glow in the dark. At the height of their power, the trio built grand villas across Philippia Kingdom, palaces, more magnificent than the emperor's own. Courtiers bowed, merchants begged, and officials toasted their names. But power breeds appetite. Soon they decided to expand their empire overseas. One of their foreign mansions, worth millions, was suddenly sold for 1 coin. Yeah, right, just 1 coin. Officials called it asset restructuring. The public called it a magic trick. Because in this kingdom, even corruption came with a discount tag. The newspapers showed glossy photos of ribbon cuttings, golden scissors, and picture-perfect smiles, but never the hungry faces in the flood-soaked villages. Public funds vanished into banquets and marble halls, while rice prices soared and flood walls collapsed. Families mixed salt water into their meals, as the rich toasted with imported wine. Then came the scandal that cracked the throne, a flood control project that promised protection but delivered only debt. Billions vanished between bidding and building, and when the rains came, so did the truth. In a desperate bid to protect his power, Liang tried to tie his family closer to the throne. He sought to adopt the emperor's new concubine as his daughter. Her brother, Minister Bing, objected. So Liang gave the order, and Qin carried out the assassination. Not long after, assassins were sent after Bing's father, Father Du. A lot of people saw this one-sided slaughter, and later went straight to the emperor to report it. The court erupted. Soldiers surrounded the mansion. Qin and his subordinates, underlings, escaped, but was executed soon after. Liang and Sun drank poison before capture. And just like that, the empire's most powerful trio became a cautionary tale, written in blood and scandal. History isn't a circle, it's a spiral staircase that always leads back to the same floor. So who are the modern Liang, Qin, and Sun? Who plays emperor today? That's for you to decide. History's wheel keeps turning, and no empire, no dynasty, no family name can polish what's already written in dust. Thank you for watching Ming and Bronzo. If you enjoyed this story, leave a comment below, share and subscribe us. See you next time, where history whispers and we listen.